Hey guys, welcome to Independence University and to the Graphic Arts program. I am super excited to make this video for you guys today. So I thought it would be really fun if we took a field trip through Canvas. We took a sneak peek at some of the classes that you're going to take in the program. We look at some of the programs that you're going to use and just really dive into what is graphic design. What can you do with this degree that you're gonna get? What are some of the things that you're gonna learn while you're getting your degree? I thought that would be fun because a lot of people are a little bit confused about what graphic design is and what graphic designers do. And we kind of design everything. So let's hop into Canvas, take a peek around, take a sneak peek at some of your courses, take a look at the Adobe programs. But before we even do all that, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about me. So some days you might be stuck juggling things. I know, crazy, right? Make sure that you put the Canvas app on your tablet. So if you're stuck in a chair, like I am, you can at least get in. You can do your daily checkpoints, you can do your discussion questions, you can check your grades, you can respond to your discussion, you can get into Shark, you can do the readings and videos, basically anything except for in the Adobe programs that you would do on your computer. So it's really helpful to have it on your tablet, put it on your phone. I have it on both. And I get it. We're all busy. Almost every single day, I make sure that I do my daily checkpoint on my tablet because I can't always get downstairs until later, to boot up my computer, or even if my computer's right there, sometimes I can't make it over there for an hour or two, and I don't want to forget to do it. So make sure that you put the Canvas app on your tablet, on your cell phone. It will save your butt many times. Oh, you thought I just had him.
Hello.
Hello. Alexa, play The Wheels on the Bus.
The Wheels on the Bus by Cedar Monk Kids, starting now on Amazon Music.
Let's be honest, that coffee's probably gonna stay there until it gets cold. I think you know where this is going.
All through the town, the people on the bus go up and down, up and down, up and down. The people. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round.
My best advice? Find yourself a toddler that likes to do laundry.
Round and round, the wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
Alexa, play The Wheels on the Bus.
The Wheels on the Bus by Cedar Monk Kids, starting now on.
What do you need? Milk. Okay.
The wheels on the bus. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, swish, swish. Oh,
Thanks.
the wheels on the bus. Yeah! The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep.
We gotta post our discussion question. Or our response. Can't forget to do the response to your 2 fellow students, because that is worth about 20% of your discussion grade each week. So don't forget about that. Alexa, play The Wheels on the Bus.
Here's The Wheels on the Bus by Cinnamon Kids on Amazon Music.
All through the town, the people on the bus go up and down, up and down, up and down. The people on the bus go up and down, all through the town. The driver on the bus says, move on back, move on back.
So if you're also super busy, let's talk a little bit about time management techniques. If you have a smart TV, you can cast your live sessions from Google Chrome to a Chromecast, and you can watch them, while you're making dinner, while you're doing laundry, while you're having to bounce a cranky baby. It's a good use of, multitasking and your time. If you don't already, use the reminders app on your cell phone, on your Mac when it comes in, and really stick to it. You can put a reminder every single day that's reoccurring that tells you to do your daily checkpoint. You can put a reminder on Tuesday mornings to get started on that discussion question because it's due Wednesday at midnight. And you can even put a reminder on Thursday and Friday to respond to one of your fellow students on each day. So that way you have all your work in on time and you won't forget. Put a reminder to start working on your assignments maybe by Wednesday. So that way you're not rushing, because things happen. Life happens every single day, and you don't want to wait until Saturday knowing that your work is due Saturday at midnight. Graphic design is a very deadline-driven industry, and it's important when you're in school to make sure that you mind those deadlines and get your work in on time.
Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go.
Okay, so I've spent the last couple of hours making phone calls, importing everyone's name, phone number, email into my list, all of you new people, and I've been in the discussion posts for the class that I'm enrolled in and the 2 classes that I'm teaching, making some comments to everyone. I've emailed some of my students. I've checked everyone's attendance, so make sure you do those daily checkpoints because we check to make sure that you're logging in. And now it's a beautiful sunny day, which you can probably tell. I seem to have big basking in the glow. So I'm gonna bring the kids on a little ride. Hopefully they'll fall asleep, take a nap, and then when I get back I can get a couple more things done. Hi, can I get medium hot snickerdoodle? shout out to Sip and Dip for having New England coffee. It's delicious. Hi everyone, this is Shannon McNamara, and I wanted to make a video where we take a little bit of a field trip through Canvas and look at a couple of courses, look at the Canvas app today, and just kind of get a little bit of an understanding of, graphic design, what you're going to be doing in this program at Independence. And I hope that this might answer some questions that you might have about graphic design and help to squash any of your fears that you might have going into the program. So let's start to dive in. Now you'll notice that I am on a Mac. And the school sends out, when you go into your first design program, which will be at this point DES 104, that might change in the future, but if you're starting right now, your first design program will be DES 104. So you'll get either a Mac or a PC, depending on your program. And you may or may not be familiar with a Mac if you're, you've always worked on a PC in the past, but don't worry, don't be scared. I find that Macs are extremely easy to use. So if you've only ever used a PC, I kind of feel like going from a PC to a Mac makes things a little bit simpler. And I commend out anyone who can use a PC with ease, because every time I get on there, I feel like I'm in a foreign country. So, so kudos to you. But there were a couple of things that I do want to go over. Macs are great. They really are. But at the end of the day, no matter what computer you have, a Mac, a PC, your own computer, things can break. Right? So the school asked you when you started if you did have a backup plan, in case if the school provided computer goes down. And it's extremely important that you do have a backup plan for your computer, that you have a backup computer. The reason why is yes, the school sent you a tablet, but the Adobe programs do not run on your tablet. You need to run the Adobe programs on a computer. So you do need to have that backup plan in place just in case if something goes wrong with your computer and you need to send it back to IT. That can happen. You do have the option to send it back to IT to get your computer fixed, which is a great option. I mean, I work on my personal computer, and if things go wrong, unfortunately, I don't have the option to send it to our IT department. I have to go to the Mac store or, to Best Buy, to the Geek Squad, and have somebody come look at it. Usually I just go to my husband. I say, what is going on here? Because he's done IT in the past. So with that being said, make sure you do have a backup plan for a computer. If you don't have another computer right now, consider possibly purchasing one. If there's a sale, a Black Friday sale, any type of sale, I would consider picking up a cheap laptop, just something that you have that you can do your homework on to get through the program. And it's never a bad thing to have two computers, honestly. I constantly work on two computers right now as it is. I have my laptop right here, and I also have a Macintosh tower. I call it the trash can because it kind of looks like a trash can. And I'm constantly using both machines. Now, another good thing is, once you get your computer, is to make sure that you have a backup plan in place for your hard drive. So that means, having an external hard drive or possibly subscribing to Dropbox. I do both. You'll notice you can see the backup drive on my machine. I actually put Dropbox on here, Google Drive on here. Some of my applications go out here. Whenever I download something, I put my downloads folder here. It just saves space on my actual hard drive on my machines, and it helps things to run faster. You know, the Adobe programs, they are very high memory programs. They take up a lot of space on your machine. They take up a lot of resources on your machine. So it's important to have somewhere else that you can save your files. Graphic design files are large. They're extremely large because we're putting so much information into them. We have lots of pictures that we're putting in, plus the file itself that's hosting those pictures. So my best suggestion is to pick up an external hard drive and to also use Dropbox. I think Dropbox is amazing. And the reason why I think it's amazing is because you can put the app on your cell phone, on your tablet, anywhere else, so you always have access to your files. I pay $100 a year for Dropbox, but I have a lot of files. You know, I have all of my portfolio work for the last 20 years on there, my husband's portfolio work for the last 25 years on there, plus we run a home business. All of that work is on there. So you might not need you know, a Dropbox. I think we have a couple of terabytes possibly. You might not need something that large. Our both of our computers actually run the Western Digital My Passport for the Mac external hard drives, and those are, I think we have a terabyte on each of those too. So we have a lot of, you know, space. But you'll notice, I mean, you can go into your Mac and see, you know, how much storage you are using. So, oh, I actually have a 4 terabyte drive, and I think I picked this up for $100. So it's really worth it. My hard drive alone is a 251 gigabyte drive, but it, you know, even with everything I am putting on my 4 terabyte drive, you can see my apps alone take up 30 gigabytes on my hard drive. And my system takes up, you know, about 100 gigabytes. So you can see, you know, that's before I'm even putting any artwork on my system. So again, having those, having an external hard drive and Dropbox, you know, is a really good system. And I always put my Dropbox on my external hard drive because you're able to download certain files, and that will still take up space. Even though it's also on the cloud, it does put the files on your actual hard drive. So just kind of keep that in mind. And they have lots of different options or subscriptions that you can subscribe to. Another thing I wanted to get into before we jump into Canvas is organizing those files. I am big on organization. I think you can see my desktop is pretty clear, honestly. And it's kind of funny. I just noticed that this is here and I'm like, wait a minute, I need to move that. That doesn't go there. But I also put certain things, and this is on a Mac again. So if you're on a PC, I understand that's going to look different. I have everything organized how I need it to be. So I'm actually going to move that to this folder because that's where that should go. I can take it off of my hard drive. And I am in the MBA program. So this is how I organize my files. Every single mod, I make a folder. And then whatever mod I am in, we are currently in mod 4 while I'm making this video, I pull that folder into my sidebar, which you can just kind of drag and drop it in. And then when you want to take it out, you just kind of drag until you see that X and you can take it out. And that's how I organize everything. This is, mod 4 for my MBA, all of my MBA classes. So if I need to get back into something, mod 4 for my FPA students, because I'm also a faculty program advisor. So I can go in and access that. Then just my main folder I might need. Mod 4 for the class that I'm teaching, and this is kind of my naming convention, and then all of the classes I've ever taught. So I have, my 2016 mods, my 2017 mods, my 2018 mods. And then once I am actually in there, I name a folder for the name of the class. I'm currently in MBA 630, Operations Management. And then I have a week folder. And I put everything for that weekend. So my discussion, I always write my discussion questions in Microsoft Word, which you can download for free from the school. They will give you Word for free. I make sure that I have a folder for my assignments and my assessments, any extra text that I might need. I put all of my citations that I need, because for the MBA program, I have to write a lot of papers. So I copy and paste my citations into a text document, so that way when I bring them into Word, it sticks with the formatting I need. I mean, I have a system. I download the PowerPoints for each week from my instructor, and I save those. So you can see, when you have everything in a specific folder and you need to go back and look, it's a lot easier to do that if everything is separated out. I even tag certain folders purple if they have my business plan, if I've added to my business plan in week 4 of that mod. So that way, going forward, I know where my business plan is located. So again, it's just important to have an organization system and organize your files. If everything is on your desktop, you run the risk of uploading the wrong assignment for your class, or of losing things, because everything, your desktop will start to just be filled with all of these icons, and that can be really, really confusing. So, again, just try and have a system of organizing your files right from the beginning, and you'll find that you can find things with ease, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. All right. So let's hop into Canvas real quick, and I'm actually going to pull up Canvas as myself as a student, so that way you can see. So when you get there, this is how I have my dashboard set up. When I go to the dashboard, I like to have it in list view rather than card view. You might have it in card view. So if you go to the 3 dots right here and change it to list view, you can see what you need to do each day. And for me, I like seeing that. So I have 4 completed items. Today is Saturday for me, so all of my work is due. So I can see that I've done my week 2 discussion. I've submitted and done my replies. I've already submitted my assignment. I've got these little check boxes. I've already submitted my assessment, and I've already done my daily checkpoint. And then I can see what's due tomorrow. I won't be able to go in and do this daily checkpoint right now, but tomorrow, which is Sunday, that will go up to the top, and it'll be the first thing that I can select to do. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to see my to-do list for the day. So, I like to, again, set up my dashboard that way. And then when I want to get into my course, I just click on courses, and I can see right up here the course that I'm in, and I can navigate to it. But what if you want to go back and look at a course you've already been in? That's when you can select all courses, and up here at the top, it'll show the courses that you're enrolled in with a little star. But you can also see your past enrollments. So you're able to go in and see what your grades were for week 4, because we grade, Sunday through Monday of week 4 to get your final grades in. But your course, once it closes out Saturday night, isn't going to show up in your dashboard. So some people want to see, hey, what was my final grade after I submitted my work for week 4? If you go in to all courses, you can scroll down to your past enrollments and you'll be able to see. So I'm going to click on MBA 640, which is a past enrollment of mine. I can go into my grades, which pulls up my grade book, and I can see where I ended. So I ended with the total of 104%. And you may be wondering to yourself, well, if I can't do extra credit, how on earth did you end with 104%? The way I ended with 104% is I made sure to do my daily checkpoints. I didn't get them right every single day, but daily checkpoints can act as extra credit. They can both help and hurt your grade. So you need to make sure that you're going in and doing them. And the way that they help your grade is any daily checkpoint that you do each day. If you get the 5%, up to 5 days of that a week, it's kind of a net zero. It doesn't help your grade, but it doesn't hurt your grade. Anything that you do day 6, day 7 of the week, if you get them right, they act as extra credit. However, if you don't do your daily checkpoints at all, you can lose more than a full letter grade. So let's say that I did not do any of my daily checkpoints. And you can actually go into the course that you are currently enrolled in, and you can put through these scenarios in your grade book, these kind of what if scenarios. So let's say that going forward, you can see where the dash is, you can click to test a different score. So I'm gonna say that going forward, I got a 100% on everything going forward. Let's put in, pretend that I'm just super good at everything, and I'm gonna get a 100% on all of my work, including my career integration quiz, which we'll take a look at that. We'll discuss that. So I have a 100% week 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? That would give me a 104%. And it's saying, oh, you know what, we're just gonna assume where you already have a 92% on your daily checkpoints, that stays at a 92%. So I'm ending with an A because I got a 100% on everything. But what if I decide for the rest of the course to just not do my daily checkpoints? So I'm gonna put in a 0 for the next 2 weeks on all of my daily checkpoints. And we can take a look and see what that might do to my grade. That brings it down to a 98% already. All right, well, what if, I'm gonna see if it'll let me change my grades. What if I never did a daily checkpoint? Go through and zero them all out. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you do them all at once. That would be easy. All right, so now I've never done a daily checkpoint. I'm down to an A minus. An A minus, sure, it's still an A, but an A minus versus an A plus, I now have to get, oh, I must have missed one somewhere. I didn't hit enter on that one. So my daily checkpoints are at a 0. That brought me down to a 92%. Well, what if you didn't get 100%? You still had an A, but what if you got a 90% on things? That's still an A, right? So let's say that your week 1 assessment, you got a 45 out of 50, still an A. let's say your week 1 assignment, you got a 110 out of 120, or you got a 55 out of 60. These are still A's, right? Let's say you get a 90. I'm guesstimating here that these are 90%. So still A's, and maybe a 150, still an A. Your grade, however, see, A, 0. You've lost a full letter grade by not doing those daily checkpoints. So that stinks, right? I mean, you got an A on you have an A for all 4 weeks, but those daily checkpoints, by just not going in and doing them, brought your grade down to a B. That's a bummer. I hate to see that. So make sure that you go in and you do those daily checkpoints every single day. All right, so if you're not home to do them on your computer, you can do them on your tablet. You just have to put the Canvas app on your tablet. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I just need to change my screen and share my iPad. Every time I do that, it always shows. All right, so here's my iPad. So I am in Canvas on my iPad, and what I can do is I can click on the to-do list down at the bottom, and I don't have any to-do items today, but that's where my my daily checkpoints would show up, is in that to-do list. So I've already done it for today, so that's always awesome. I can get into my course right through the Canvas app here, and I can check my grades. You can see I missed one for the DC week 1 of Friday. Only one I missed so far. And it wasn't that I wasn't home. That was a crazy day. I had to bring my daughter to the emergency room. So, I forgot. But another thing that you can see is if you're in other community pages, which once you are officially put into the graphic arts community, there will be a graphic arts community page that will show up there. And I'll show you guys that, because that's a great page to go to. But you can access your calendar. You can access any notifications. So your announcements will show up in there. You can access your messages from your instructors in there. Anything that's unread, anything that you might have starred, any messages that you've sent. So this is a great way. Oh yes, I trust this computer. Yes. Not sure if that's showing up for you guys. I'll just move that out of the way. It's like, do you trust this computer? Yes, because I own this computer. So again, it's a great way that you can go in. You can even tell it in the little sidebar, to show your grades. So that way when you log in, you can get a visual right away. I have a 97%. You can change your settings. You can, I think you can even change your profile photo right through there. So again, it's a great way to be able to do things when you are on the go. So I'm going to go back to sharing my desktop. There we go. So I'm a huge fan of the Canvas app. I think that honestly, it makes my life so much easier, just because sometimes I leave my computer downstairs, and I have 2 kids. I can't always be running downstairs and leaving them unsupervised upstairs to let the 1.5-year-old watch the newborn so I can do my daily checkpoint. So I know I have my iPad upstairs with me. I can just log in while my daughter is making me, play the Wheels on the Bus for the 17th time, or, play in her play kitchen, and I can do my daily checkpoint. It's done. I can kind of multitask. So, I find it really, really, great to be able to do that. Now, you have more than just a faculty program advisor at Independence. So I wanted to get into your My Student account. And I'm going to go in as a student because I see different things as an instructor than you guys will see as a student. And luckily, because I'm in school here, I'm able to get in and show you what it looks like as a student. So that is your myindependence.edu login. And when you get there, you'll see the student portal or the staff portal. So you want to go to the student portal. Your username is usually your first last name and then whatever password that you have created. And you can log in. And once you're into this portal, you can see every single one of your advisors right here on the homepage, which is great. You can also access Canvas if you forget the URL right from here as well. You can just click and then I'll pop it open. So my faculty program advisor in my MBA program is Robert Potter. So I can click here and it will send him an email. But if I click on these little squares right here, I can see who my financial aid advisor is, my career services advisor, my student financial planner, and my student services advisor. I feel as though the two advisors you are probably going to speak to the most are going to be your SSA, your student services advisor. Mine is Brittany Marrero, and your faculty program advisor. And my faculty program advisor is Robert Potter. Those are the two people you're probably going to hear from the most and speak to the most. Once you are in here also, you can see if you have any messages in the message center, any documents in the document center. You can access your attendance. You can view your unofficial transcript, your degree audit, your class schedule, your GPA calculator, what your grades are, any resources you might need. So let's take a look at the unofficial transcript, because if you want to download that, you can download a PDF file of it. So I'll show you how. Just kind of click on it and that'll download. Takes a moment. I can see that it's working though. Saturdays can be a busy time for the server because everybody in the school on Saturdays is logging in, they're uploading their work, so kind of keep that in mind. Not quite sure if it'll let me do something else. Oh, there it goes. I'm just going to open it with Acrobat. So I can see my unofficial transcript. I currently have a 4.0. These are my grades. And this is what I'm in right now, MBA 630. So you'll notice there isn't a grade yet because the course hasn't finished. And it says it's not official unless it's signed by the registrar. So if I needed to provide my transcript to somebody, maybe for a job, maybe to prove that I am in school, your unofficial transcript is a good thing for that. You can see if you go to degree audit, you can see what program you're in, what degree you're pursuing. You can see what your enrollment ID is, what your GPA is, your SAP status. I'm online, your expected graduation date. So mine is August 4th. It's coming up. You can see when you started and when you enrolled. The credits required, how many credits you're at. And then you can also go in and see what you have left. So I can see that my capstone project has been scheduled. I'm currently in this class. These are my completed class. I can see that I need to still take developing business strategy, and I'm going to show you how the terms work. It took me a while to figure this out. So this is the term I'm in right now. So let's look at it. 2019, that's the year. 04, April 15th. So that's when that term started. So 2019, 04, so April 15th of 2019 was when that term started. And it's a 4-week mod. So I can figure that my next term is going to be developing business strategy because it's 2019, 05, 13. So it's about exactly a month later, and that's when that mod is going to start up. Then I'll have 2019, 06, 10, and that is my last course. So I can see the light at the end of my tunnel, right? So it's pretty cool to go in and see where you're at. You can also click on my class schedule, which will also show you your classes, so you can view it by term. So here's where I'm at now. Then I can see next term. I'm going to take, again, that developing business strategy. And then my last class is my capstone project. It only shows about 3 or 4 mods out, because the registrar can only really predict for you 3 or 4 mods out what you're going to be taking. You can go to your GPA calculator. It'll show you what your GPA is. My grades. You can see your grades you can filter it by term. So you can go into all your past terms and look. And then your resource center, which opens up in a new tab, that is Shark. And we're going to get into Shark a bit more, but these are all of the resources right there at your fingertips that the school offers. You can look at your financial aid, your finances, and your profile as well. So again, the My Independence or my.independence.edu, this link you should definitely bookmark. And then you can also bookmark just the dashboard from Canvas, which is we call it CEHE.instructor.com. And when you're putting the Canvas app on your phone or on your tablet, that's going to be the link that you're going to have to search for. Or it's going to ask you what your institution is. And I believe it's under Center for Education or Higher Ed. I always forget what CEHE stands for. Center for Education, Higher Excellence. It's something like that. But it will come up if you search for CEHE. And if you ever need any help, putting that Canvas app on your phone or your tablet, make sure that you speak with your FPA because they can definitely assist you with that. All right, so that's a little bit of a look at what I can show you as a student, but it doesn't really help you for the graphics program. So what I decided to do is to go into a course that I have taught in the past, which is DES 104, which will be your first design class. And I figured we could just kind of peek around. Now, note, this is an older, I haven't taught this since last year, so things change in our courses. So what you're looking at right now might not be exactly how the course is going to look like when you take it. But I figured it's just good to kind of poke around and see, how the course is set up. different things that are available in the course, how to get in and see those live sessions, how to get in and see your announcements. And again, certain things change. Each instructor teaches differently. Each instructor kind of sets things up a little bit differently, but it'll give you a general idea of what it's going to look like, what graphic design is, what you're going to be learning. So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of that today. All right, so this is the homepage for the course for DES 104. So first things first, you should know who your instructor is and when your live sessions are, right? So if you go to the bio about your instructor, you'll see this was when I had taught the course. It gives you your instructor's name, their email, their phone number, when they are available. I always like to tell my students, just know I am located in Eastern Standard Time, so just be aware of that time zone change because the school runs in Mountain Time. And a little bit about your instructor as well. Can always get back right from the tabs over here. Now, personally, I used to hold my live lectures Mondays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, but we also like to give you a breakdown based on when your time zone might be. And then if you are in a level 100 class, what we have is we have multi-sessions. And what the multi-sessions are they're kind of like tutoring sessions where we are there in our Zoom room with, just kind of hanging out, waiting for you guys to come in. And we can offer you some homework help. We can offer you, to kind of do a little critique of your work that you're working on. Sometimes I tell my students, hey, if you want to just come in and, work in the background, you can mute yourself. And if you do need some help, I'm right there to help you out with, if you need some help with the program. I can kind of take a look at your screen while we're in there. Just note that during the multi-session, anybody can come in. So anybody can see your screen. So you just want to kind of realize that. But, it's a good time for some one-on-one time with your instructor. And the multi-sessions are usually about 2 hours long, just like the live lectures. Now, once you get into the level 200 courses, you won't have those multi-sessions anymore. What you will have is 4 hours of lecture each week. So you'll have 2 or 3 or 4 live sessions, depending on how your instructor breaks down their live session times. So the software requirements for the live lectures are Zoom. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to click the link for the live lecture, or you can even copy and paste it into your browser. You will have to download that Zoom program in order to watch or go live to the live sessions to get them to work. We always post the recorded sessions in the live session tab. So if you can't come live, you can watch them. Some instructors post them, upload them right to Canvas. I'm an instructor who likes to send them to YouTube. Each instructor is different. So you might be wondering why. The reason why I send them to YouTube is I figure that way. If you have a smart TV, you can kind of send, you can go to YouTube and look up the lecture and maybe play it on the TV while you're making dinner, or while you're trying to corral the kids, or, maybe you have to fold laundry or something. So, I like to personally watch my lectures while, sometimes while I'm cooking dinner, sometimes, while I'm folding laundry. It kind of allows me to send them to the TV, and I can kind of, I have an open floor plan in my house, so I can see the TV in the living room from a couple of different rooms, and I can listen and I can watch. But another great reason to watch the live lectures on a different screen when you're in graphic design, and especially when you're in the level 100 programs, is it allows you to watch while your instructor is doing demos, and you can work along on your laptop with them. So I always tell my students when they're in a level 100 course, watch the live lecture on your tablet and work along on your laptop. That way, when I do something, you can pause it on your tablet, do what I've done, and we can work together. So that way, you're kind of learning the programs. Have you ever worked along with a YouTube tutorial? It's kind of like that. So I learned that system when I was in college at UConn. I used to put YouTube tutorials on my old laptop and then work along on my better computer. And that way I could kind of pause and do what they were doing, because I was doing a lot of coding, and I was like, hold on. All right, let me type that in so I can get it to work. So just, a little bit of a tip and trick, I think, to make your learning process a little bit more enjoyable. Now, you can also access the live session videos and the announcements, because we always post them in the announcements as well. And you're going to want to make sure that you go into your course and you read the announcements every single day, because we're not in a physical classroom with you, standing at the front of the classroom behind our desk, and you guys have come in. So the announcements are the way that we're able to get some information to you. And it's not just those live sessions. I always like to let my students know that, everything's due tonight. If you have any late work, that's due tonight at midnight. Who your learning coach is. We have learning coaches that are partnered with the courses, and they always provide a flyer saying when their specific hours are. So when you're in a level 100 class, most of the learning coaches that are in the Student Success Center, they are going to be able to help you out with your class. But if you get into the level 200, if you're going for your bachelor's and you get into the level 300 or the level 400 courses, sometimes there are specific learning coaches who are more adept at those classes, like the coding classes and the animation classes and the web classes, and other learning coaches. So you're going to want to know when your specific learning coach is going to be available in the Student Success Center. Now, with that being said, let's go into the Student Success Center and see how you get in there. So some people have some trouble getting into the Student Success Center, and I've actually run into it myself. Sometimes you have to kind of go through the process more than once to get yourself in. So first things first is you're going to have to make sure that you have that Blackboard software on your computer. And it does tell you, if you don't know how to do this, you can click on the IT support live chat link below, and the agent will be able to assist you. But let's take a look. So clicking on that purple Blackboard Collaborate tab will give you the instructions on how to sign into the Student Success Center and find your learning coach. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is click on this link right here, because if you've never logged into the Student Success Center, or for whatever reason you need to download the launcher again, you need to get to this screen right here. So let's click on that link. And it says, please enter your name as you want it to appear in the session. So I'm going to put in Shannon. And then you'll click log in. So you can see where it has that drop in. When the session file is finished downloading, open it in your browser's download folder to join the session. So because I'm on a Mac, it put it right here for me. But you might have to go into your downloads folder, wherever that is on your computer. And you can see it's right here, that drop in. Open that up. Click right here. Sometimes I have to open it, I have to click on it, I have to click run. So I have to say, is it okay for these things? And this is how you get into the Student Success Center. So it shows you how to check your audio, load the content, and collaborate and communicate. Once, and I'm gonna see if I can mute myself. Once you are in here, you're going to wanna go into the correct room that you need to be in. It will put you in the main room. And if there are hours for graphic design, somebody will ask you if you need some help, and they'll get you into the room that you need to go in. If you need help from the writing center, you're going to need an appointment. So I am going to leave. I'm going to quit out of here. But that's how you get into the Student Success Center. And then once you're in there, the learning coaches will be able to get in. They'll be able to, kind of go back and forth on your screen, take a look, everything else. Now let's take a look at their hours of operation. That's always good to know, right? And you can check by what program you are in. Click on graphic design. And we like to separate it by weeks. So see, Saturday, it's in Mountain Time. Saturday, they have hours from 9 a.m. Mountain Time to noon Mountain Time, and it's only 10:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the graphic design was not open yet. So you need to be aware of the hours when you are going in. So that's why no one was there to say, hey, do you need to go into graphic design? And then there's also a computer basics workshop. So let's say that, you were sent this Mac, you've never used a Mac before. If you go into the Introduction to Mac workshop, there is actually a class that you can take from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Saturday. And it shows you in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. This is based on the week of the mod. This is a great thing that you should do if you're new to Macs. When you're sent your Mac, you'll want to go in and learn. They go over, the computer lingo, the keyboard, the OS, how to get Microsoft for your Mac, protecting your computer against malware, going over file management, when and how to change your web browser, because the Mac comes preloaded with Safari. And you might not be familiar with Safari. I honestly never use Safari. I take that back. I use Safari for certain things, but I mainly use Google Chrome because I have Gmail, everything else. So they'll go over how to download and install the software, how to manage your email accounts, attach documents, search topics, how to bookmark your websites, password protect your computer, what the cache and cookies are, how to delete the cache and cookies, because sometimes you have to go in and do that to kind of free up some space. So Mac Help is really a great thing that we offer to our students. So you'll wanna get in to see that. And again, everything's right through Shark. So student support, if you go into self-help, if you ever need a return label for your computer to send it back, if something happens, your computer was lost in transit, if you need a badge. You may be thinking to yourself, well, why do I need an ID badge for an online school? A lot of places offer student discounts. So I say definitely go in and get your ID badge. If you need, again, if something goes wrong with your computer and you need a repair request, if your computer gets stolen and you need to file a police report, if there is a natural disaster where you live, your house gets flooded, there's a tornado, hurricanes, I live up north, blizzards, a lot of information on this page. You can check the frequently asked questions. There is the IU Help email and the help desk. These are their hours of operation. Student IT support for software, laptop, tablet help. That's their email, their hours of operation. If you need to get into the library and you need some help in the library, self-help, again, tablet, laptop specifications and frequently asked questions. If you need disability services, again, some other frequently asked questions can be found in here. Let's go into announcements. You know, all different announcements, freshman club, you know, finding us on social media, our catalog. As of July 31st, there will be a Canvas update where it seems like it'll only work on Chrome or Firefox, so that's something to know. Some news articles, again, let's get into the Student Success Center right here, the Study Cafe. If you need some help writing your discussion posts, you can go to the Writing Center and you'll log in. One note about the Writing Center, I find during week one-on-one appointments in the Writing Center fill up really quick. So you're going to want to get in there like on Monday and make an appointment. Also, it does seem like week one, everybody is submitting their documents to the Writing Center. So they say that they have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. Expect the 48-hour turnaround time. So if you submit a document to them Friday and you know it's due on Saturday, there's a good chance that they might not be able to get that back to you by Saturday. So keep that in mind. You know, the week one always seems to be the busiest. You can get to the library, to ProQuest here. There aren't going to be a lot of graphic arts programs that you're going to need to get into ProQuest, but when you are in your histories, your English, some of your marketing courses that you need to take along with your design courses, you may need to use ProQuest. So you'll need to log in. Oh, it never wants to take my login. I always have to log in, it seems like, as a student to get in. This is that library research database. There's a couple of different ones. This is mainly medical, so I wouldn't worry too much. The one I use the most, honestly, and this is from my MBA program, is ProQuest. I have a lot of good luck in ProQuest. Some of my tips and tricks are to always click on full text when you put in your search. Make your search term kind of generic. It's like when you're Googling something, honestly. But the reason why I say to click on full text is I've found in the past an article and I'm like, ooh, that seems like it would be exactly what I need. But it's only like the first paragraph of the article or the headline. And I've clicked on it and been like, oh, boo. Well, you know, I wish I hadn't seen that because now that's all I can think of. So you want to be kind of generic, like logo redesign. And then once you get in here, sometimes the amount of searches that come up can be a little bit overwhelming. 2,911 results, that's a lot. So you can go down and, you know, clearly I really don't need anything from the 1800s. Maybe I only need something from the last, 9 years, 2010 to 2019. I want to stay a little bit relevant here on my logo redesigns. So you can click update. All right, that brought it pretty much in half. I can even then go a little bit further and say maybe the last 3 years. All right, 358 results. Perfect. You know, maybe do I want reports? You know, I can go in and even change it more. Maybe I only want things from the United States. 67 results. Perfect. So again, I find that ProQuest is the easiest for me to use. Some people like ProQuest Newsstand. Some people like the EB SEO host. Personally, I just like ProQuest. It's really up to you what you find to be the easiest. Now, the one thing that I don't like about getting into Shark this way is it doesn't open it up in a new tab, and then you're like, where did my course go? So again, if you just kind of go to Sihi and get yourself back there. There we go. We're back in. And again, I'm in student view, so this is one of those things where it's going to look a little bit different. You wouldn't have this pink bar down at the bottom. All right, so again, from the main page, you can get to your daily checkpoints. You can get right to Shark. If you have a 2-button mouse, what you can do is right-click and tell it to open itself up in a new tab. So that way you don't completely navigate away from your course, just in case. Course information, a little bit about the course, what your objectives are, your learning objectives. That's always good to know, what you're going to be learning each mod. How to get to the library. Again, that, right-click, open that up in a new tab, the Student Success Center. This is important. And I feel like a lot of students kind of miss this, is this readings and videos. So I want to go over this with you guys. I want to start you guys off on the right foot before you even start your courses. What we offer at Independence, which is really, really awesome, is the lynda.com tutorials. Lynda.com is a paid service. When I was working at a direct mail company, which is one of the graphic design jobs that I had, and they purchased for us, I want to say back in 2008 or something, lynda.com, we were all like, this is so awesome because they have so many great tutorials. We could go in there. We were in the process of changing over to Adobe InDesign during that time, and we got to watch tutorials on it. It was just such a great resource to have. So we do offer lynda.com tutorials in some of our courses, and take advantage of it because it's such a great resource. But in the level 100 courses, what you will see is that each week there is a pre-recorded lecture that you need to watch along with the live session for that week. So it goes over, it's kind of a supplement to the live lecture. So some of the things that we go over in the live lecture, we can't get to everything in 2 hours. So that's where you're going to find it, is in your pre-recorded lecture or your readings and videos for the week. This is that in-class component that you're missing because you're going online. So we put it all together for you in a nice packet each week. So there's a URL video that goes over, selecting part of an image, how to make a custom banner, and here's your playlist from lynda.com, going over Photoshop. Because in DES 104, you're learning Photoshop. As graphic designers, you are going to be using the Adobe suite of programs. It's the industry standard. That is what everybody in the field uses. And it's important to really learn everything you can in each of your classes in these programs. And once you learn Photoshop, let's say, in DES 104, it's not that you're not going to use Photoshop again. You're going to use Photoshop throughout your entire time here at Independence, because as a graphic designer, you use Photoshop all the time. Once you learn Illustrator in DES 103, you're going to use Illustrator your entire time here because we use Illustrator all the time as graphic designers. Once you learn InDesign in DES 105, you're going to use it your entire time here because that's what we use as graphic designers out in the field, is InDesign. So, each program builds upon itself, and the way that you're put into the programs, there is a system to the madness. The first program I used or learned from Adobe was Adobe Photoshop. I actually learned Adobe Photoshop almost 25 years ago. in high school, and it was Adobe Photoshop 2.0, only the second version of Adobe Photoshop that ever existed. The interface was black and white. There weren't that many tools, and it was the coolest thing I had ever done in my entire life. And I really believe, because I took computer class learning Photoshop, that that is the reason that I became a graphic designer. I really truly believe that, because I got in there and I was like, this is so awesome. So this is kind of a good segue to kind of, open up the programs and just take a quick look and also discuss, what is graphic design? What do graphic designers do? And there's so many different paths you can take as a graphic designer. But I want to make this clear right at the start. Graphic design is not video game design. You are not going to be able to make video games by becoming a graphic designer. And I really do. I really want to make that clear, because I think that it gets confused a lot. And, I don't want you guys to be confused. So what is video game design? Because a lot of people do ask that. Video game design ultimately is a lot of coding. I think that people think I am going to get into video game design and I'm going to sit around and I'm going to play video games all day, which is my dream. And that is going to be my job and it is going to be awesome. But that's not what video game design is. To be a video game designer, yes, there is going to be some testing, obviously, of your product to make sure that the game works the way that you want it to. But ultimately, it is sitting there and writing line after line after line after line of code. It is extremely code heavy. There is a lot of very, very advanced coding that goes into video game design. There are schools that provide video game design as a program, but I do want students to know that you're not going to be making video games. You're not going to work as a video game designer by getting a degree in graphic design. So I just want to make you aware of that right from the start. Does that mean that you can't be a graphic designer in that industry? No, not necessarily. The products that literally the product packaging that a video game comes in, the container that it comes in with the the cover and all of the artwork that is printed on the actual video game, that's graphic design. Somebody has to come up with the characters that go into the video games, and they're illustrated. Those illustrations start out in a program like Adobe Illustrator. They're brought into Photoshop, and their textures are applied, and then they're brought into Maya, which is a modeling program, and they become 3D. But it doesn't mean that you can't be an illustrator who makes custom illustrations. InDesign is the layout program that lays out the packaging for the video games, the packaging that you see on the container on the shelf. So there are aspects of graphic design, but it's not actually making a video game. So I just kind of wanted to make that clear. So again, I find that I call Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator the Adobe trifecta. I feel that those are the three programs that you use the most as a graphic designer. So I just wanted to take a quick look at those today. So this is a mock-up that I created in Photoshop of my business cards for my business, letterhead, and the envelopes. So I feel like this is a good representation of the three programs because I didn't create my business card, my letterhead, or my envelope in Photoshop. I just put them onto this picture to look like they're laying on a tabletop. Instead, I used Adobe Illustrator to create my logo. And I'm actually teaching a logo design class right now. So here's my logo created in Illustrator. And the reason that I created this in Illustrator, and you'll get into this in your courses, is Illustrator creates vector graphics. So vector graphics, everything is a line. There's no pixels. You know when you take a photo on your phone and you start to zoom in and you zoom in a little bit more and you zoom in a little bit more and it starts to get really fuzzy and you're like, ooh, I can't really see when I zoom in that much exactly what it was I took the picture of, and then you try to explain to the person that you're, but what I was trying to do was get a picture of that sign over there, but I was too far away, and when I zoom in, it's all fuzzy and you can't see it. Those are pixels. So Photoshop is a pixel-based program. These are all pixels. So as I start to zoom in and start to zoom in, see, it's the same thing that happens on your phone. You start to just see everything as squares. Those are pixels. But when I start to zoom in Illustrator, I can zoom in to the most I can zoom in, which is 2,771.79%. That is some epic zoom, right? No squares, no pixelization. And that's because everything in Illustrator is based off of this mathematical equation of lines. I can't really explain it. It's just that basically you can make this logo as big as a billboard and it's not going to lose its resolution. It's still going to look crisp and sharp. So that's why we always create logos in Adobe Illustrator. That's why when you create illustrations for those video game characters and you draw the character, you want to draw them first in Illustrator so they can be really, really big based on however big a TV is that they're going on. Or, characters for a movie like Pixar. How big's the screen gonna be? You don't want the characters to look all blurry up on the screen, right? So that's what we use Illustrator for illustrations. Then after I've created my logo, what I might do is create my business card or my letterhead, and I can actually, let me open it up. If I can remember where I saved it. I know it's in Dropbox. Here we go. This is from 2014. Wow, this is a old file. It's from an old version of InDesign too. So InDesign is going to be like, whoa, hold on. But that's a good thing, is InDesign can open up lots of old files from any version of InDesign that you've created a file in. That's the good thing about Adobe. But here we go. Okay. So this is the back page of my business card that I created. So what I did is I use a layout program such as InDesign to lay out things, lay out how I want my business card to look. Where do I want to put this graphic? Where do I want to put the background? Where do I want to put this swoosh? And then I place all of those items together in InDesign and I literally lay them out. And then once I have the layout complete and it looks good, I save it. But let's say that I want to do a mock-up where I show someone, my entire branding of Pixelate Design. I have business cards and I have letterhead and I have an envelope and this is what this looks like. I can do some crazy layout in Photoshop where I Photoshop together a mock-up to place on my Behance page, and I'll show you that, which is where I have my portfolio of all of my work. So these are the types of things that you're going to do in this program. You're going to learn how to lay out a business card because everybody needs business cards. You're going to learn how to lay out, letterhead. Every company needs letterhead and envelopes to be custom designed. And then once you've made those custom designs, what we do is we give you, or show you how to upload all of your work to a Behance page to showcase it. So that's what I have here. I have all of my graphic design work that I've done, and I can send this to potential employers. I can, show them what it is that I've done. So let's take a look at some of my Photoshop work that I've done. This might be the best way to show you what Photoshop can do. So here was a before photo that my friend took of her daughter on the beach in Florida, and she's in her Little Mermaid, bathing suit. And she said to me, she's like, oh, I just wish that those people weren't in the background and you couldn't see my arm. And I said, well, just send me the photo and I'll Photoshop it out for you. And she was like, you can do that? And I said, yes. Because you guys have known me for 20 years and you still don't know what I do for a living. So I brought the photo into Photoshop and I took out the people. I took out her arm. I color corrected a little bit. And I cloned in the beach where the ocean, waves, the sky, where everybody was. So that's what you can do in Photoshop. And you may say to yourself, well, that seems really specific, but there are so many times where I have worked as a graphic designer where a customer has taken a photo and we need to put together an ad for them. And they're like, oh, but I accidentally have this in the photo and I really don't want that on my ad. And we say to him, oh, you know what? We can take that out in Photoshop, so we'll fix that for you. So that's something that you can do for your customers all the time. Here's another thing that I did, another mock-up I did. So this was a photo of just two people looking at a cell phone, enjoying a nice coffee, and I made coasters for a company that I was working with. And what they said is, can you make it look like the coasters are at this business and laying on the table? So I did. So I made the coaster and I laid it down in Photoshop and kind of added a little bit of a drop shadow there, mimicking the shadow and the direction that the shadows were going on the page, and it looks like it's laying on the table with them. And then I added, a little sticker to this picture, and I added a little card to this desk, just to show like, hey, or a light bulb. They sell light bulbs, you can probably tell. Here's I made the card and then I added it to a light that was hanging. So the different parts of the graphic design that I've done is, first I had to design the sticker for them as a graphic designer. So I designed the sticker for them. Then I added the sticker to the stock photo so they could use it in their promotional pieces. So you can see the different parts. I designed this sticker for them. Then I added the sticker into a mock-up that they could use in their marketing. Same thing here. I created the table tent for them and designed it as a layout. Then added the table tent to this photo to use in their marketing. So there's so many different aspects that you can do just to end up with this image at the end. Here's another one, which I found was really funny. So they were in Staples, the light bulbs, and they had these little end caps where you could buy them, and they hadn't put them in the store yet. So the girl was holding it up and she was like, obviously we can't use this in our marketing. Can you take me out of this? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll take you out. So I cropped it in a little bit. And what I did is I added a couple of more of the Bounty paper towels where she was, and it looks like it's hanging like it will. And I actually added their logo to the top of the piece that would be on the end cap, because the logo wasn't there, but they were going to have these specifically printed for themselves. So I made it look like it will look like in the store. And then they had one in the store and it did have their logo on it. So I added their logo and I added a picture of the light bulb at the bottom. Then they had some professional photos taken. And what they did to save on money is they only had one photo taken of each of the 60 watt light bulb. You know, they weren't going to have the photographer come in and take the same photo with the 100 watt or whatever. So what I did is I created the box and then moved that box, the packaging, and redid each of the photos, and you'll notice it looks, you can't tell the difference. You know, I had to match the shadowing and get the dimensions just right to add that new box in. These are all things that you can do in Photoshop. Did the same thing here. They took a photo this time with the 100 watt light bulb box, so I added in the 75 and the 60. Same over here. They took the photo with the 100 watt. So I added in the 75 and the 60 for their marketing material. They also had, this is what their shelf container looked like before. And they were like, but we're changing the design of it. So can you add our new boxes in and everything else? I said, yeah, sure. So I added in the new boxes. I changed the artwork on the side and I mocked it all up with their new graphics in Photoshop. And then this one was probably the most difficult, is they took this photo and they were like, it's really not a good representation to use in our marketing material. Can you fix this and just add the new light boxes in and make it look nicer? So I did. So I lined up all the boxes nice and neat. I fixed this to have their new new poster in the background and their new you know, what goes underneath the light here. Fix that. I brightened it up a little bit too and added their new light bulb boxes in and just made it a little bit neater. Again, in Photoshop. This one was a combination of Illustrator and Photoshop. I was showing how I had to create the little piece that clips on the shelves that hold this card, so you know when you're in the store that this is where the light bulbs were located. So I created this piece in Illustrator. I drew it all out. I made the I forget what they call this, the aisle violator in InDesign, and then I mocked the whole thing up in Photoshop. So that's some of my Photoshop work. You know, I actually worked as a graphic designer doing a lot of layout as well. So let me pull up some of my layouts so you can see what you can do layout-wise. So here's, again, another one of those aisle violators that I created for Finally Light Bulbs. This was, I feel like you can, there we go. This is, I think, a poster that I created for them. Another poster. I worked for Benjamin Moore for a while, and we used to create custom apps for different companies, for buying flooring, buying paint, things like that. So what I would have to do is I would have to mock up what the website or what the app looked like. So this is one of those mock-ups. This is layout work. And it would show this is how it's going to look like once we build the app for you. So every single piece of this has been laid out in a layout program. This is another web-based program, and I laid that out for them. So this isn't the working app. This is just my mock-up of what the working app would look like. So these are some of the things that you can do. You can mock up what a website might look like once it's coded. This is the, Super Coops. I worked for them for about 12 years, and I was in charge of designing the envelope. So this was their envelope design that I mocked up. This was the back of the envelope. Some other marketing material. This was created in Illustrator. This was an illustration that a church in Florida wanted. Oh, that's showing behind a black background. This is, I mocked up an entire dining guide in InDesign. So this is what my mock-up looked like. And then I put this all together nicely to to look nice for my Behance page. I did this in Photoshop. So you can see where all of the different programs, kind of start to work together. Here's a good example. I created these flowers in Illustrator. I color corrected and cropped out the book in Photoshop, and then I put it all together in InDesign. Same here, and same here. So again, that's what graphic design is. And I think sometimes until you really get started in the program, you might be just a little confused as to what graphic design is and what it is that you would be doing. Here's a project that you'll be doing in your DES 114. You can put together, you're going to put together a trifold, and then you'll mock it up. You will be putting together a website in DES 248. It's such a great program. It used to be that when you went to school for graphic design, you had to choose. Am I going to go to school for graphic design, or am I going to go to school for web design? And if I need to do both, I'm going to have to pay to get 2 degrees. I had to pay to get 2 degrees back in the day. You guys don't have to. This, you're going to learn both. You're going to be so much more ahead of the game if you really take, your schooling seriously. You can go places with this degree. All right, so speaking of taking your school seriously and seeing your grades, if you go into your grade book, another cool thing that we're able to do, and I hope I have an example I can show you in this course. I might not have an example. But what you can do is you can actually view comments. We can leave you comments on a PDF file that you upload, and you can view those comments. And I have a video that shows it, so it might just be easier to show you that video. I think I usually I usually call it feedback. Nope, maybe I don't have it here. I know I have it in the course that I'm teaching right now. So let me just go to my dashboard. It's just gonna look a little bit different for a second. There we go. Viewing the annotations and feedback in your gradebook. So here's how you can see that.
Morning, everyone. I wanted to just make a quick video to show you how you can see your feedback on your grades that I've left, the little notes that I've left on your PDFs. So if you go over into your grades area and scroll down, I'm going to use the week 1 assignment as an example. What you need to do is it'll show your grade. You can see the rubric. So you can see where you may have lost some points. And then if you click on view feedback, this will show you that PDF where I have annotated the notes for you. So this will be a little bit helpful so you can preview and you can see where each of the boxes, there's a little dotted line that shows where the note goes to and the different feedback. So hopefully this is helpful.
So again, that's a really cool option in Canvas that we can do that. So I definitely wanted to go over that with you. Another thing as well is if your computer happens to come without a mouse, you really need to have a mouse in graphic design. You know, you can see how intricate some of the work is that we do in Photoshop and in Illustrator in particular. And it's so much easier to do that work with a mouse, you know, to get in there with the brush tool and, you know, really color something in, to get in there with the clone stamp tool, all of these tools that you're going to learn. And I find I don't know how people do it with just a trackpad. So you are really going to need to get a mouse with your computer if it does not come with a mouse. You know, some of the cheapest places that you can get it is Best Buy offers a student discount, sometimes Walmart or even Target. You don't need an expensive mouse. I mean, if you're really into, you know, like having a game mouse and things like that, you know, hey, have at it. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money, a cheap mouse will do better than no mouse. So that is definitely one of my suggestions as well. So thank you everyone who took the time to watch this today. I'm really excited that you have, you know, chosen graphic design as, you know, something that you are hoping to, you know, get into as a career. I think it's a great career, obviously. I teach graphic design. I've been a graphic designer for over 20 years, so obviously I love it, and I live it. If you ever have any extra questions about the program or anything like that, please make sure that you're contacting your FPA, and have a great day, everyone.